God damn, did they ruin that. That was terrible. That was one of the worst Olympic decisions I've ever seen in my life.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most rigged moments in sports history.
Do you still count that race as a proper race victory for yourself?
Yes, I do.
Even though the team effectively manufactured it?
Well, I think that's interpretation.
For this list, we'll be looking at instances when a given sports event or competition was purposefully manipulated or controlled by deceptive or dishonest means. What's the most rigged moment in sports in your opinion? Let us know below. Number 10, Bloodgate.
Tom Williams came onto the field with 1 point between the teams and just 10 minutes left. I understood from what Dean said that I'd be coming off at some point before the end of the match with a fake injury, but I had no idea how this would work.
While facing Leinster during the second half of the 2009 European Rugby Champions Cup, the Harlequins found themselves in a bind. They were trailing behind and had used up their substitutions. However, they got a lucky break when a player named Tom Williams had to be taken off the field because he was bleeding. This in turn allowed the Harlequins to send in another player on the field.
Who punched Tom Williams in the mouth? Tom Williams?
However, the timing of the injury was a little too convenient. Turns out Williams was instructed to use a blood capsule to fake an injury and set the whole thing up.
During a break in play, Williams was called over by the club physio. Steph came onto the pitch and told me to change positions with David Strettle. At this point, Steph handed me a blood capsule. I instinctively placed the capsule in my sock, as there was nowhere else to put it.
In the aftermath of the incident, Williams was temporarily suspended and other Harlequin officials received short-term bans. Number 9, 2002 Winter Olympics figure skating scandal.
David, what was your first thought when the numbers went up?
It was like a punch in the stomach.
Representing Canada at the figure skating pairs event at the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, Jamie Salé and David Pelche put on a performance for the ages. The duo seemed to have the competition in the bag and were set to claim gold. However, much to everyone's surprise, Russia's Elena Berezhnaya and Anton Sikralidze won it all instead. An investigation was conducted and one of the judges, Marie-Reine Lagoon, revealed that she was forced by Didier Gaillaguet, the president of the French Federation of Ice Sports, to give a higher score to the Russian skaters.
She just came running over and said, Sally, you must help me. I wasn't right. The Canadians were better. And she just started sobbing that, it was a deal. And I said, but why? She said, oh, you don't understand. It was a deal with the Russians connected to the ice dance event.
They were both temporarily suspended by the ISU for their involvement in the incident. Fortunately, an awards ceremony was held which saw both the Russian and Canadian teams awarded gold medals. Number 8, Roy Jones Jr. gold medal robbery. At a men's boxing event during the 1988 Summer Olympics in Seoul, Korean boxer Park Si-hoon was matched up against legend Roy Jones Jr. Throughout the entire bout, Jones completely dominated Si-hoon. After the match, when the winner was announced, no one could believe what they saw when Si-hoon's hand was raised by the referee.
Well, there it is! Park Si-hoon has stolen the bout!
Turns out the bout's end result was fixed. Several allegations came forth indicating that Korean boxing authorities had bribed judges to vote in their favor. Nonetheless, the end result was never changed.
It hurt the sport of boxing, especially amateur boxing. It hurt it because when you can take a kid, 19 years old, he defeats his rival clearly, and you rob him, it really eliminates the integrity of that sport.
Number 7, Crashgate. At the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, Renault's Nelson Piquet Jr. was leading at turn 17 when he crashed into the wall.
Oh, big crash! That's Nelson Piquet!
His teammate Fernando Alonso used the opportunity to go ahead and win the race.
Fernando Alonso coming through to take the checkered flag and claim a very, very well-deserved victory in Formula One's first ever night race.
Initially, the crash was deemed a mere accident as a result of a mistake made on the part of Piquet Jr. However, when he left the team the following year, he revealed that the crash was deliberate, having been ordered to do so by the team's principal and engineer.
The only debate is whether the plan to crash deliberately was Piquet's idea or Pat Simmons.
The incident had widespread ramifications, including terminated sponsorships, lifetime bans, and libel cases. Meanwhile, Piquet Jr. left Formula One altogether and joined NASCAR. Number 6, Houston Astros World Series Win. No ifs and buts about it. Simply put, the Houston Astros cheated their way to a World Series win back in 2017. Over the course of a number of seasons, the team used unauthorized electronic equipment to get live video feeds to decipher and uncover the signs made by opposing team catchers during games. The information would then be relayed to the players through noises made by hitting a trash can.
Change up. bang, bang. That sequence is so upsetting. There's no way that is done without technology.
The team was eventually caught in 2019. The Astros were fined $5 million and forfeited their first and second round draft picks in 2020 and 2021.
We need to move forward with a clean slate, and the Astros will become a stronger organization because of this today.
While manager A.J. Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow were each initially handed 1-year suspensions, Astros owner Jim Crane went on to fire them both.
And the evidence was so profound that 1 hour after the Major League Baseball's ruling came down, those dudes were fired. That's evidence. I'm sorry.
And if the whole thing couldn't look any worse for the Astros, the players seemed unapologetic for taking part in the scheme in the aftermath.
I am really sorry about the choices that were made by my team, by the organization, and by me. I have learned from this, and I hope to regain the trust of baseball fans.
Number 5, Pakistan cricket spot fixing scandal. In 2010, a journalist went undercover to expose a huge cricket scandal.
Yeah, they've all been organised, okay. So the first ball of the third over of the innings, yeah?
They found that an agent, Mazhar Majid, could predict certain events that would take place during a match between Pakistan and England. When everything played exactly like the agent had anticipated, the investigation went public. Team captain Salman Butt and players Muhammad Asif and Muhammad Amir were all found guilty of taking bribes to perform certain actions during games. Each member of the trio received massive bans from cricket. Additionally, numerous people involved in the gambling syndicate were arrested. Majid, Butt, Asif, and Amir also received prison sentences for their involvement in the scandal. Number 4, disgrace of Gijón. During the 1982 World Cup, West Germany squared off against Austria in a group match. Circumstances surrounding the tournament made it such that if West Germany were to win by 1 or 2 goals, both they and Austria would qualify for the knockout round, since Algeria and Chile faced each other the day before. During the match, after the lone goal was scored, West Germany passed the ball around amongst themselves, with Austria barely putting in any effort. In the end, West Germany came with a 1-0 win. Naturally, a barrage of accusations were thrown towards both nations, accusing them of having fixed the match. FIFA conducted an investigation but found that no rules were broken by either team. Number 3, European football match-fixing scandal. In 2009, a match-fixing ring involving over 200 members was said to have either fixed or attempted to fix approximately 200 football matches across Europe. Discovered by way of wiretapping, several of these games were played in different organizations, including Champions League and the Europa League. The ring was said to have included players, coaches, referees, and officials.
Betting leaders are suspected of bribing players, coaches, referees, and other officials to fix games.
Arrests and raids were made across several countries. Many pundits have labeled it the biggest instance of match fixing to ever take place in Europe.
Names of clubs and individuals haven't yet been released because of criminal investigations, and the Europol director Rob Wainwright said that they will be in touch with the president of European football's governing body UEFA and described it as a sad day for European football.
Number 2, Calciopoli. In 2006, it was revealed that several higher-ups heading several Italian football clubs and referee groups had been influencing the choosing of favorable officials for certain matches. Even Serie A champions Juventus were found to be involved. As a result, they were stripped of the 05 and 06 titles, the latter of which was handed to Inter Milan. The team was also relegated to Serie B the following season. Other clubs involved in Calciopoli included AC Milan, Lazio, Regina, and Fiorentina, all of whom received various punishments, notably point deductions and expulsions from competitions. As for the individuals, many of them were handed bans from football and even received prison sentences. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Chicago Black Sox. The Chicago White Sox were the overwhelming favorites to beat the Cincinnati Reds at the 1919 World Series in baseball. However, the latter pulled off a shocking victory. The only thing more surprising, however, was the bizarre behavior exhibited by the favorites, which included making in-game errors that seemed intentional.
Sports writer Hugh Fullerton smells a rat. He suggests in the New York Evening World that White Sox players were fixing the World Series. A claim that casts a deep shadow on the national pastime.
Naturally, allegations arose that 8 players on the team had purposely thrown the match as part of a gambling ring organized by mobster Arnold Rothstein. These players were set to earn $100,000 each for throwing the series. With inflation, that's nearly $1.7 million today.
I think the Black Sox players saw a high reward for what they were doing. They could make as much as their yearly salary in 1 week for fixing the World Series.
In 1921, while several players admitted their guilt, all 8 were acquitted after a court case, including legendary great shoeless Joe Jackson.
He's remembered for what he might have done, and that suspicion that maybe he didn't really do it, or didn't know what he was doing because he was an ignorant Southern boy. Maybe that's what makes him most famous of all.
However, each of them received a life ban from playing professional baseball within the United States.
Those 8 Black Sox have paid the price for our forgiveness of the flaws and the errors and the frailties of all these superstar athletes that have followed. If the sins of the fathers are less in this case than the sins of the sons, in my opinion. And those men were scapegoated.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.